Violent arrest caught on camera in Florida. Authorities are defending the officer's actions. We do want to warn you, some of you will find this video hard to watch.
Exit the vehicle now! Exit the vehicle!
The Jacksonville, Florida Sheriff's Office has now released body camera video of this violent arrest back in February, insisting the officers did nothing criminal.
Don't get on the ground!
The suspect, 22-year-old William McNeil, also recorded video during the traffic stop.
And then there's no rain.
It doesn't matter. You're still required to have headlights on.
In his video, he can be seen arguing with officers before one breaks his window, punches him, and pulls him from the car, hitting him again.
He was very confused as to why he was being pulled over for not having headlights on during the day.
But police say that video tells only part of the story.
Give me your driver's license, registration, proof of insurance. Call your supervisor.
In the newly released police body cam video, an officer is seen arguing with McNeil after pulling him over for not having his lights on in the rain. McNeil then locks himself inside as the officer repeatedly orders him to exit the car.
Sir, this is your last warning to open the vehicle and exit before we're going to break the window. No, bro, I didn't do nothing. It's called resisting, idiot.
There absolutely was force used by the arresting officers, and yes, that force is ugly. And just because force is ugly does not mean it's unlawful.
In the police report, an officer claimed McNeil was reaching for a knife. McNeil's lawyers deny that.
We watched the video, and that did not happen.
McNeil says the incident left him with a chipped tooth and wounds requiring 9 stitches. He spoke exclusively last night to WJXT.
And then I also had a concussion and suffered from short-term memory loss.
Despite the deputies being cleared criminally, an internal investigation into their conduct is underway. Court records show McNeil was charged with resisting arrest without violence and driving with a suspended license. He served 2 days in jail, and he has not said whether he plans to sue.
Much love and respect to everyone tuning in. I don't take your time or support for granted. Thank you for being part of this community where we speak truth, not sugarcoats, because only real conversations can shine light on what others try to hide. Now let's get into what you just heard. What we just witnessed should never happen to any human being. That wasn't just a traffic stop. That was fear meeting authority in its rawest form. You could feel it. The panic in his voice, the disbelief in his eyes, the loss of control as the people sworn to protect turned the moment into a storm. Tell me, what justified this? What threat did they see that made them break his window, punch him, drag him out like that? Because if that was safety, then what does danger look like? You see, this isn't just one man's story. It's a reflection of a system that keeps showing us who it really is. We keep saying, maybe next time it'll be different. And yet every new video looks the same. Flashing lights, raised voices, and another black man's body on the line for simply existing in the wrong place, in the wrong moment. I'm not saying every officer is evil. No, there are good ones. But when the system keeps protecting the bad ones, silence becomes a weapon too. When accountability is optional, justice becomes selective. And that's when fear becomes normal. But fear should never be normal. I've watched this footage more than once, and every time it gets harder. Because behind every shout, every hit, every slammed door, there's a truth we don't want to face. That somewhere deep down, this country still treats black skin like a threat before it ever sees a person. You can call it training, you can call it procedure, but I call it a failure. A failure of empathy, of humanity, of justice itself. How many times must we watch another clip like this before something changes? How many times must we say the same names, cry the same tears, and hope the same hope? The badge should represent protection, not power. The uniform should stand for courage, not control. Yet too often, we're left watching videos like this, asking the same question over and over again. If this man looked different, would it have ended the same way? We just witnessed something that shouldn't need explaining. You saw what I saw. A man trying to talk, trying to breathe, trying to understand why violence became the answer. That's not law enforcement. That's an assault on dignity. That's not policing. That's punishment without trial. And yet, as the headlines fade and the noise dies down, the same machine moves on, the same excuses get made, and another story takes its place. But not this time. We can't unsee this. We can't unfeel this. Because this isn't about hate for anyone. It's about love for humanity, love for truth, and love for justice. That's why we speak. That's why this video matters. Because silence would make us no different than the ones who looked away. So to anyone watching, ask yourself, how many more times do we need to witness the same injustice before we admit it's not just one bad officer? It's a system that's long overdue for change.
And when he said that, you see from the video the response from these officers that were violating his Fourth Amendment constitutional rights against unlawful searches and seizures. And they shattered his window and they beat him and brutalized him. And even when he was handcuffed, they repeatedly slammed his head to the concrete.
Traumatized. I'm still afraid of police. Still frightened at night. I don't sleep still as much as I used to. That's pretty much it.
It is clear that William McNeil Jr. was not lying when he said the police had him at gunpoint. We know there are other videos that exist, right, Attorney Daniels, that we do not have. And we don't think this is the only officer who drew his gun on this unarmed young black.
Jacksonville Sheriff's Office arrest video is now speaking out for the first time. Good morning, I'm Bethany Reese. William McNeil Jr. and his attorneys are now at a local church in Ribault. Let's listen in.
Violence and drop no suspended license. That entire stop was not just pretextual, racial motivated, it was unlawful. And everything that stemmed from that stop was unlawful. What we're not going to do this morning is get in the back and forth between the leaders of Jacksonville. What we're going to do, we're going to focus on the facts. And everybody saw the video. You can release all the body cameras you want, but the body camera, the cell phone footage was unedited. It is a reality. You can talk about a knife being in the car, but it was not a weapon because he did not weaponize it. He stayed calm. The only weapon that day was a Jacksonville Sheriff Office. The nation saw it. Everybody saw it. And we are here for redress and get justice for the McNeil family.
Amen.
Nothing more, nothing less. William have a long road to recovery to go. I'm not going to get in his injuries. You see pictures and things online, but William attended Livingston College, band scholarship. His president is here today. So,
hello, I'm LaToya Solomon. I'm Williams McNeil's mother. He's my firstborn. He's also my only son. I have 4 children. He is the only boy. I have 3 girls. The day I seen that video, I couldn't finish it past the window breaking. It wasn't until maybe a few months ago I finally finished the whole video. But I'm thankful to God for protecting him, because I know what the outcome should have been. But I believe in faith in God. It's what protected my only son, and I thank God for that.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm Alton Solomon, the father, stepfather, but I can't call him my stepson because this is my son.
Yes, sir.
I've been through what he's been through. to see that video made me go back to the moment when I was 22. It hurted. It made me upset. But I seen what my son did that I had to do. And he sat right. And he did right. To see that, it's a hurting feeling. To be a father that loved God first, and to see all my kids not being able to wake up in the morning and get a phone call saying your child is gone. That's a hurting feeling, but I thank God.
Yes.
Because God got him. Y'all keep us in prayer.
When you look into the eyes of that family, you don't see politics. You see pain. You see a mother who hasn't slept since the night her son was beaten. You see lawyers who are not chasing headlines but chasing answers. You see people standing in front of microphones, trembling not from fear but from exhaustion, tired of begging a system that promises justice but rarely delivers it. What they said in that room wasn't just a press conference. It was a cry from the heart, a plea that said, "We are human too." As I listen to them speak, I feel something that words can hardly hold, that mix of heartbreak and courage, because it takes everything inside you to stand in front of cameras and relive that pain over and over again, just so the world doesn't forget. And yet they still stand. They stand for him, for themselves, for every person who never got to tell their story. And you can see in their eyes, they know the odds. They've seen how this system works, how evidence can vanish, how statements get twisted, how the powerful always seem to find protection in the fine print. But still, they fight. That's the kind of strength no courtroom can silence. What we just heard from that family isn't anger. It's love fighting back. It's love saying, "You can't erase him." It's love refusing to accept that another black life will be written off as a statistic. When his lawyer speaks, every word carries weight, not just for one case, but for generations of families who have been through the same nightmare. And you can feel that collective pain rising from the streets, from the churches, from the homes of people who have lost. Faith, but keep hoping anyway. Because hope is all they have, leftists easy to scroll past a headline. It's easy to say, "That's sad," and move on. But when you see this family, when you listen to them speak, you realize this isn't about one man anymore. It's about every person who's ever been silenced, dismissed, or blamed for their own suffering. It's about every mother who sends her son out the door and prays he comes back alive. It's about every father who teaches his child how to survive an encounter instead of how to live their dreams. That's not freedom. That's fear dressed up as normal. So when I hear them speak, I don't just hear a call for justice. I hear a call for humanity. I hear a reminder that we can't build a peaceful world on top of buried truth. This case isn't just a headline. It's a warning. It's a mirror. And it's a choice. We either keep pretending that this is rare, or we admit that this is real. We either keep looking away, or we finally face what's right in front of us. That family deserves more than sympathy. They deserve change. And until change comes, their voices, our voices, must keep echoing through every courtroom, every city street, every heart that still believes in what's right. What we just heard isn't just a cry for justice. It's a wake-up call. A family and their lawyers standing up to remind us that silence is no longer an option. We can't keep watching these stories, feeling sad for a moment, and moving on. We must learn what to do when we see injustice, learn our rights, learn how to hold systems accountable. Awareness alone isn't enough. Awareness must lead to action. That means speaking out, sharing truth responsibly, supporting real reform and demanding transparency from those in power.
Also with you and Attorney Keefe and all these great lawyers, Attorney Jackson and Attorney Robinson, because this is a very, very important case. As Attorney Daniels said, when William was stopped, there was no rhyme or reason, no rationale for them stopping him. I mean, this was a classic case of driving while black. And I applaud William McNeil for keeping his demeanor, his calmness. I mean, Attorney Daniels, I thought the trained police officers were supposed to be the ones to de-escalate the matter. They were the ones escalating the matter while this young man represented the best of us. He kept calm. He was trying to de-escalate the matter. He just kept asking simply, why are you stopping me? I mean, think about that. I understand the sheriff said anti-police. No, no, no. It's not anti-police when an American citizen asks, why are you stopping me? That is an American citizen exercising his constitutional rights. That's what William was doing. He was exercising his constitutional rights. And Attorney Daniels and I seek to remind America that we are a democracy, that we believe in the Constitution, and that all American citizens have a right to the protections of the Constitution.
Because every video like this is a lesson, a painful one, but a lesson we can't afford to ignore. Real change doesn't start in the courtroom. It starts with us. So let's stay informed, stay involved, and never stop pushing for the justice that every human being deserves. Much love, and please, subscribe to the Untold Crime Chronicles, where we speak truth, seek justice, and keep every story alive until change finally comes.